It's okay though. Henry's got his Warhammer thing that he's doing, and that brings me neatly along to my final thing that I wanted to talk about, because he might not want to be part of it after this. So
yeah, I'm keen to hear this. Being someone who played Warhammer when I was a kid, so I'm kind of keen to hear this story because I haven't heard this story yet. So,
okay, so how can I summarize this briefly? So, are any of you guys familiar with the world of Warhammer 40K? Because
I've read about it.
Yeah, so Lance does. He knows about it.
I used to have a battalion of Ultramarines. I've probably got a photograph of them somewhere. I sold them on eBay a long time ago, and I had some Eldar and Eldar tanks. But
Nice.
then I decided to play World War II miniatures because it was historical and that it had less spiky bits, and you didn't have to roll 50 dice every time you fired a gun. So, you know, it was more fun.
So the high level view is that it's set in this grim, dark, horrific future, the 41st millennium, where humanity is just fighting constant wars to survive against alien races. It's all very metal and it's all very cool. And the preeminent face of Games Workshop of Warhammer has always been the Space Marines. They are the superhuman, genetically engineered warriors that take the fight to the enemy, and they're like freaking 8 feet tall. They weigh like 400 pounds each. They're barely even identifiable as human. But anyway, one of the tenets of them is that they are all male. They're called the
Chapters.
They're referred to as the Brotherhood of Warriors, and like they've always been that way. It's all throughout the lore. But it's present day, don't you know? It's current year, and there's been this growing push to have female ones. Doesn't make any sense, and it contradicts everything that's been part of the lore. But it's that faction of people within the hobby have always they've always been pushing for it, and they've been growing in recent years, and they've just started to give way. Games Workshop, the company that manages Warhammer, they've started to bend the knee, and so you've got this like group within the Space Marines called the Adeptus Custodes. They're like the elite. They're the
Emperor's
guys who
bodyguard.
they guard the Emperor of mankind. They are more powerful than Space Marines even. They're that special. And in their latest edition of their rulebook, they've decided now that there's female versions of them as well.
Here you go. Here's one of them.
Oh, here we go.
Just found
Yeah. Lore accurate version right there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they put this out, and people saw the latest rulebook and started to question it, naturally, as you do, saying, what's this all about? We've never had female versions of this before. And so Games Workshop responded on Twitter by saying, in regards to female custodians, there have always been female custodians since the first of the 10,000 were created. And also, we've always been at war with East Asia. So this was their mentality of, we're just going to pretend that it's always been like this, and we're going to gaslight everyone who questions us into believing the same. Which I thought was kind of hilarious, because someone here summed it up perfectly by saying, imagine trying to gaslight a fan base so autistic that they count the number of rivets on power armor to determine its sub-pattern, and who have such a long memory that they point out inconsistencies between books that were printed decades apart. I think that's a perfect way of summing it up.